We got a call.
President of the Board of Trustees, to order at 7 p.m. On the roll, Trustee Morse. Here. Trustee Hagan.
Here.
Trustee Klumstein.
Here.
Trustee Foreman.
Here.
Trustee Falk. And Trustee Metzger. We stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
From the floor, Mr. Keel, anything?
No, I should thank the chief and Vinny for their help in the parade. Much help.
Okay. I said that I just told him, he's going to get a big head. I just told him I'm hearing all good things about him, so, That bald head will just swell up. But thank you, Chief. It's all good to hear good things. It's good to hear good things in that field.
And thank you to the car club that drove us all.
Yes, thank you.
Beautifully.
Thank you, Len. That was great. Thank you.
Other than that, you're okay?
Certainly.
Okay, I'll have a motion to approve on this agenda.
I'll make a motion.
A motion by Trustee Morris, seconded by Trustee Klumstein. Discussion on the motion. Discussion on the motion. Anybody want anything polled? With there being none, Trustee Letzker.
Aye.
Trustee Falk. Trustee Foreman.
Aye.
Trustee Klumstein. Trustee Hagan.
Aye.
Trustee Morris.
Aye.
Motion carried. On the President's report, I just want to update what Vinny said. Riverside Drive is open. He did a great job in keeping us all informed. Finalizing the project scope punch list. Items 1 will soon be completed. And phase 2 is the path. Okay, phase 1 is pretty much done. Phase 2 is the path, and we're going to try to get a IDVP grant opportunity for that. That was the original plan. Okay. Annual celebration in the park reminder, Saturday, December 21st, 2024. Dates changed from previous years. Let Vinny know where he can use your assistance. So if anybody wants to give some assistance, let Vinny know. Okay. Reminder, we canceled Committee of the Whole for Thursday, September 26th, so enjoy the evening off from the village meeting. I hope you're all upset about that, I know. But, ribbon cutting ceremony for Stylash Studio proposed for Saturday, September 28th, 2024 for 10 a.m., 10 a to 1 p. Ribbon cutting at 12 p.m. Let Vinny know on invite tracking Vinny, not present as Vinny Jr. on a motocross race. So thank you, Vinny, for updating that. Make sure your water's at home. Fall brush pickup reminder, crew will start Monday, September 30th, 2024. One pass each subdivision, anticipated week long. Residents allocated 20 minimum max. McHenry Township Fire Protection District, Station 2 open house, Sunday, October 6, 2024 at 10 a to 1 p.m. Chief Horse, special invite for village trustees for a special full station tour. And Halloween is on Halloween, Thursday, October 31st. Johnsburg Police Department has extra patrol allocation from 3 p to late evening for hours. Okay, any questions on that?
Is that what time trick-or-treating starts this year?
3 to 7.
3 p, and then it usually goes to 7, right? Usually, but people want to go later. Just what
I
I
get complaints, we address them as necessary, but generally 7, I think, was supposed to be the...
Lights out.
You're not going to arrest anybody after those 8 or 9?
Well, curfew's 11 p.m.,
So, okay. We should be okay then.
you're getting arrested at 11:01.
11:01?
No.
Okay.
Well, is there adults?
Put that in the minutes. Put that in the minutes.
There's some adults with trick-or-treat, so it's possible. Get you on your ring
A
camera.
lot of adults drag their kids out to do that.
It's true.
Okay. Any comments on that or anything else that anybody wants to add? Mike, do you want to add something about the bonfire that I think is a great idea for
Yeah,
Sunday?
a couple things then. One, you can contact Vinny, or please let me know if anyone does want to help in any way. I'd like to just thank Josh again to Prem for an additional donation to Celebration in the Park, so thank you, Josh. We're pretty good. I mean, everything's lined up this year. It's a little different, so I'm excited about the weather, so that's the good part about us moving it up. So it's supposed to be 82 and nice. The new entertainment is exciting, and a lot of the programs that are selling food, because 301 Boys will not be there this year, but that helps the programs that are selling food, the Dugout and the Wrestling Club and all those guys that are volunteering their time to make some money for their organization. So please let us know if you can help. The other thing that popped up too is a couple people that are involved in the varsity Skyhawks team had reached out to me. So for this year's senior night, which is October 18th, they said that the consensus amongst a lot of the seniors was they really weren't too thrilled about maybe getting a bag with some trinkets and stuff like that in there, so they wanted to do something more of an experience or a memory. So this will take our approval and the help of President Hederman and Chief over there too, because they want to use Hiller Park after the game and have an old school bonfire, and it would just be all the seniors and coaching staff. So we would have to agree to that special event, and then also the curfew issue would come into play, because it would be after the game, but it would be seniors only and coaching staff for an hour and a half, 2 hours, the night of the senior football game.
I think it's a neat idea. I remember when we used to have homecoming years ago, everybody had big bonfires. Remember, we dragged anything that you could ever find.
And burn.
Yeah, and burn. Anything that was burnable, we found them all in there, So I think it's an old school idea. I think it's a neat idea.
Will they provide chaperones by chance?
This is the beginning stages. Wanted to pass it by you guys to see if it was something with the hurdles I spoke of that we could.
You said the coaches will be there, right?
Oh yeah,
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it would be coaching staff and seniors.
Coaches will keep it all.
Yeah.
They'll be thrown into the fight. No.
It would be in the fire pit, not on one of
Only
the...
if they win or lose.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
It's some dirt.
yeah.
What is the consensus, gentlemen? I don't think we
I don't have a problem with that as long as they're chaperones.
Yeah, I think, there's got to be some supervision.
Okay. I think consensus.
Sounds like a good idea.
All right. Well, I'll get more details and let them know that we're open to the idea and find out
Yeah.
and report back to you.
Now, are they gonna supply the wood, or are we gonna grab some?
I think they're going to supply it, right? Or do you want?
Well, I think we're going to see what happens after this Saturday as well, and if there's any leftover, which I hope there's not, because I want that sucker to be big. But yeah, they're very willing to supply any kind of food that they're going to bring, clean up, set up, and do anything that they need to, as long as we're willing to let them use that. I mean, the backup was just go to someone's house. I think it'd be cooler for us to be able to let them use the park.
That's fine.
I do too.
We'll have a burn area already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea.
Who do we have?
I'll get the details and
Approve at the end of the night.
give you guys an update.
Love it. What
So,
was the date
yeah.
again?
October 18th.
In the email exchanges that Trustee Falk brought to me, I looped in the chief of police to see if nighttime patrol can just canvass that park since it's midnight, just to make sure all the embers are out.
Yeah.
But Station 2's 24/7. We can work with them too.
Take it
But
out.
We'll keep the water truck there, and then we have a hydrant right there. We'll make sure they have a long enough hose to get there, and once you put it out, it's pretty much out, just in case any embers trickle and reignite. Patrol can still monitor Hiller Park. And
The night patrol
And
gets
no
out and checks the
gasoline or
bathrooms.
No, I just worry about the corn and
No,
stuff
we don't
that's in the
use
front
any
of it.
accelerants.
No
So
accelerants.
we definitely
Just
have,
amazing.
yeah, we had some trees
Somebody
that we
will
took
have
down
like
that
a
we've been drying out for quite some time.
Okay. Like I said, I'll get the details and get back to you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Move to approve ordinance 24-25-8, granting R3 two-family dwelling district zoning and approving the first amended plat of subdivision for the property commonly known as Oak Creek subdivision. Can I have a motion, second, and we'll have discussion?
A motion.
Motion by trustee Falk, seconded by trustee Hagan. Mr. Keller is here. You want to add anything, Joe?
If you want me to, I can say a few words.
Do you have any questions for Joe?
Could you just kind of lay out your vision for us?
Sure. First off, I want to thank you all for your time tonight, for allowing me to be here. Sorry I wasn't at the last meeting. Anyway, you know, I was just a little reminiscing with Michael boy, it was about 30 years ago. I remember being in some of these meetings around 1990. More than 30 years ago, right? And it was a different boardroom. And I kind of sat back and watched my dad and my brother at the time propose opportunities of development for Johnsburg. And boy, 30 plus years have gone by. I have 3 siblings that live down the road here, Highland Prairie and Prairie View Estates. A few nieces and nephews. Buried a son in 2011 behind St. John the Baptist. I'm proud to visit him every once in a while and ask him for help at intersection. With that being said, Johnsburg's become home. That property for me, I reminisce back in 2017, I remember the job I work now, there was a flood, and I remember 3 to 4 weekends straight just helping people sandbag around the community. Certainly at Fox Lake there, we did some sandbagging, and thankfully we got through that 2017 event. But why do I bring that up? You know, I think sometimes in life we get tunnel vision. And, you know, my family was growing up. I'm blessed with 6 kids now here. The oldest is a senior in high school. The youngest is 3, and I'm proud to say that they can come help me over there now. Get some work done and try to beautify things, unlike what some of us have seen over the years. But with that being said, what am I getting at? You know, sometimes in life when you're a young guy and your family's growing up and you feel like all you can handle is right in front of you.
It sounds like you've been pretty busy.
Lately, yes. But hearing about a broken window or, you know, some other bad news that happened there, I just got so frustrated over the years, I just kind of threw in the towel. And it wasn't until talking to some of my friends in the village and a builder buddy of mine that I brought him out there last summer, and he walked in the units with me. He said, "Joe," he says, "you see broken glass and drywall here and graffiti." He says, "I see a good foundation. I see a good structure." And he says, "If you had to build this place again, it would cost a fortune." And I'm like, wow, did you have to say that, Jim? What am I getting at? I decided at that time, and we met shortly after that, that I was kind of doing things backwards. I was waiting for something that, you know, the village has worked hard to get closer. But in the meantime, I let a good property kind of get destroyed, and kind of threw in the towel with some of the young ones that we'd catch in there time after time, and instead just kind of push that place aside. Anyway, what am I getting at? I want to fix it. I want to make it look beautiful again. I want people to drive by that place and say, "Wow, boy, it never looked that nice when it was brand new." And that's what we're in the process of doing. The only offers or people that wanted to partner with me would come over there and they'd see a dump and they'd see a property, they'd see potential, but they couldn't see through all that. So my attitude is this: fix what's there, let's get it rented, let's get some tenants on the property, helping to mow the grass and keep an eye on the place, and that's going to attract a lot more folks that want to come to the community. Will it be a 44-unit townhome development in a couple of years? I don't know. It might be something bigger and better. But in the meantime, I want to make it look really nice. I want the village to be proud of it. I need to stop the bleeding personally for my family and I, because you know, paying 15 grand a year in property taxes and other fees and things, and it's something my family can't afford any longer. But anyway, so that's what I'm trying to do. Sorry for the long speech, but I just want to thank you all for the opportunity to be here. I'm going to make that place look really nice that you can be proud of. One of the most things I enjoy is getting rid of invasive species and buckthorn and all that crap. You're going to be able to see nice woods in there again. And it's so nice when you walk in that back of that property. You grew up on it. Some of you others did too. But you could hear, you know, animals and things and breeds of animals that, you know, you don't really hear anywhere else. So we want to make it nice for you again and for my family, and something that folks can be proud of. The future, we're gonna do something additional in the future. But let's just get through phase 1 first. Let's get through. Let's make this thing nice, get it good again, make you guys proud. I did some heads turning. I will say already, I have a lot of people coming up saying, "Hey, you can build more of these. What are you going to do? This and that." So that drumbeat is already happening. it's going to happen even more in the next 30 to 60 days when you see that place completely transformed. Hopefully we have some folks, some good residents in there before snow flies.
Well, I just want to add a little bit of history here, and I think most of us know it, but maybe some of you don't. Joe and his dad, Nick, came here 30-some years ago. They did that development, Prairie View Estates. Okay, that was them, they were developers. I feel, personally, I should probably mention this, a little bit obligated, because I met with Nick and Joe when that property was in worse shape than it is, and they were going to try to go ahead with it then, but it was approved for a package plant, and the sewers were not even to Sunnyside Beach, okay? They were all the way down by the bridge. We weren't on Sunnyside Beach, we weren't up here. Now we're all the way up to Mobile. So the reality, once he gets it fixed up, is that he'll be able to do some more units and, you know, come up with a product that's more desirable today. But they did a terrific job developing Prairie View Estates. I think that history's worth something, that, you know, they'll go forward and do something. So, and just because I met with, when it was a mess and it went up for sale, I sort of talked them into buying it and going forward with it, and now it's turned into a sort of a nightmare now that Mr. Keller's gone. So, you know, I think it's a win-win for the village. I think it's a win-win for them. You know, the sewer's there, the package plant idea will go away, and the sewers with more units will go forward, I'm sure, after it starts looking better. So that's where we're at. Now, any more questions for Joe? I'm glad he'd be, but I think we have a history with them as doing a good job. So, I mean, Prairie View turned out wonderful for us.
Thank you, President.
And I live close by, Joe, so I've seen it starting to be slowly transformed. Clearing the sidewalk was great. You talked, when we met the last time, about changing the facade or the street side. Do you have any plans to do that?
Yes.
Or I saw
I'm
the
excited
siding
about
is
that.
off. What are you thinking about it? Can you share?
I'm gonna, first of all, get rid of those broken windows and put some nicer windows up.
Yeah.
A nicer product up front. The roof thing they had, I think, was kind of goofy. We're gonna do a different little kind of roof out, a little bit lower to the garage. So stop by in the next few weeks. You'll see it happening.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I just wish you well. It's a
Thank you
beautiful
so much.
property, and I think
Appreciate
it's
that.
going to
Thank you.
appreciate you transforming it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Are they 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom?
Three.
Three.
3 better.
Nice.
How big are they? They're pretty good sized units without
They're about
the
they're
basement.
1,640 square foot. I don't think that includes the
No, it
base to
can't.
walk
No.
out.
Because you got the 2-year.
Yeah.
You're bigger, it's probably another 800 below, probably.
All right, good.
I would think, yeah.
Good. So let me know if you have any good family or friends that want to rent.
Stronger on the market.
Yeah, I know it's Barry's job.
Yeah.
Any other questions before we vote on the question? Anybody? Okay, Trustee Morris.
Right.
Trustee Hagan.
Aye.
Trustee Clemstein.
Aye.
Trustee Foreman.
Aye.
Trustee Paul. And Trustee Lutz.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Carried. Good luck.
Thank you all.
Good luck, Joe.
We're excited.
Thank you, thank you. Thanks, Joe. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We were asking for sealed bids for the Lot 13 North Borison Lane, Public Real Estate, PIN 10-07-128-013. I think we asked for a minimum bid of $15,000, and I have one bid that came in today, or 2 days ago, September 17th. Okay, and it's right here, we can open it, or Michael can open it.
Let's have Michael open it.
You know,
The big reveal.
but it was 15,000 is what we wanted, so we only got one bid.
Sealed bid proposal. The subject property is presently assigned PIN 1007-128. Bid submission, I believe it reads $750. I was hoping that the apostrophe was in the wrong place, but
Is it US dollars?
US
it actually
dollars.
does specify US dollars. Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
Japanese, Chinese.
No, he's very thorough on his
Who's got the
bids.
strongest currency
Very
right now?
detailed on his bids.
It's fun to see the handwriting.
And I think that, no, it's very printed out neatly. And is this from, it says ship to Vinny La Montagna, bill to same. So is this from you?
That would be
Okay.
fantastic.
And I think perhaps knowing the poor eyesight of the village attorney, that's why the $750 is highlighted.
Now,
That's half the last.
am I correct in saying the last time we bid on this,
Wasn't it higher?
this isn't really a buildable lot?
15,000.
No, we did, but there
We
was
don't know if
extra
it's buildable. That's the
expenses that
question.
were going to come into it, so that's why we.
Well, it will be buildable someday.
Yeah, so.
So Greg, in your professional opinion, is a non-buildable lot really worth $15?
Not that much, no. Do we know if it's buildable? We don't know, right? We don't know. I mean, Vinny, did you do any?
I did have a conversation with the engineer about
Okay.
that.
I mean,
Without a perk test, you can't be a
Right, or soil suitability from or something like that.
And perk tests are no good anymore, right? Soil
They
suitability.
do soil suitability, but that's still gonna be what, Ed, you have
Is
one
that
that's-
right, Engineer Hartman?
Go out and do soil borings and tell you what it'll accept.
You'll be probably around, what, $2,000 to even do that, Tim?
Tim, did you think this is a buildable lot?
I would say get soil borings. and then-
Yeah, so you gotta do soil suitability.
Am I
It'd be
wrong?
$1,800, $2,000 just to
It's
do.
sitting there for a reason, right? If it was buildable, somebody would have done it when the subdivision was developed, so.
So what did the lot just sell for across the street?
$10,250.
That was buildable though, right?
Well,
He bought
Was
both
it-
he
lots.
bought it and built on it, but he had to do his due diligence too. So I guess
His
I don't know.
stormwater permit's $1,800.
it's,
Did
Soil
the
borings
previous,
between 250 and 500 each, and then they do 2 or 3 of them on the site.
Right, so you bought.
And they'll be able to tell you as soon as he pulls them up, he'll say yay or nay, and then he'll give you a rate and the type of soil, and he'll say, this area here, you can fit a 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, or
Nothing.
nothing.
is there any benefit for us in the future, Tim, as far as a lift station? If we get sewers out there eventually, I mean,
That area, no, we had that projected gravity in that area.
Gravity
It was all
sewer?
gravity, yeah.
okay. We had it scheduled for sewer eventually, right?
That was in phase 2 of our, yes.
West, I mean, back in the day.
Back in the day,
Which-
this was phase 1.
Which the homes are all 40 years old now, and, you know, probably we will want to do that at some point in time. Is there any advantage?
In year 30, 40, into year 50.
I just would hate to see something sold for $750 and then we have to buy it back from some developer for $25,000.
For
I'm
15,000.
surprised that a neighbor would buy it to enhance their life.
Correct, yeah.
We did share it with the neighbors. We e-blasted it. It was in the Northwest Herald publication. We try to make sure that the surrounding people knew about it also. So it's still live on our website. It just,
Then we wanted to build onto their house or anything that, the square footage or anything like that, we could join with it.
yeah, that would be the
That'd be-
neighbor on the east side right away,
Right.
either north or south, if they wanted to expand or remodel. or get
That's
some-
what I would think would be the most value
They
to
could
somebody.
be attracted.
What if we put a $5,000 price tag on it?
We only got one bid for $750.
You might, I mean, it just comes down to if it's buildable, right? And that's the question, is somebody willing to sink the $2,000 or whatever Tim's saying, 2,500?
Well, if you had 5,000 or 7,000, you know, you might get a neighbor on both sides that would split the lot or something, just to have some
I mean,
more
I can
land.
give Vinny the phone number, he can
I-
call McHenry County Analytic, and he could see how much 1 boring, 2 borings would be, and let you know. And it may be less than $1,000, so you stop guessing and you know.
Yeah.
did
So
the
it's a
previous,
little bit of investment to get a good answer, to get a real price.
I agree.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I agree with that.
the previous
And then
winter, when we posted this the first time, didn't he look into,
Mr. Hoffman,
Yes, he looked on the software program on the soils and given his background working for Berger, now Pavement Solutions. and he felt that it was unbuildable. That's why he recanted his bid of $15,000 that he submitted.
So obviously, when that subdivision was developed in the county, it was a legal lot, that's how it became a lot. So at some point in time, using the old school perk test, which we would go out with gallon jugs and we time it and then give it a rating. So it obviously was a buildable lot whenever that subdivision was platted. Now, rules have changed, soils and rates and things are considered differently. And so now they just go poke holes on it and still evaluate it. And again, it may perk for a one-bedroom, it may need a mound system, it may need aeration. So now you're talking 40, 50 grand for a septic system on that type of lot. So that might be what's and again, then you'd have to do deeper borings to understand what type of foundation system. If it turns out to be muck, you know, that's the type of stuff you see along the river. That's when you need piers, pilings, helical piles, all that.
There's several ponds right around there, so.
Yeah.
That pond's actually posted for
That
sale.
gives you an indication of the groundwater level.
The pond itself?
I just know that one seemed, I mean, I don't know this stuff like you guys do, so I appreciate that, but that, on that side of the road was higher than the ones across the street that sold, so, I mean, obviously if this is.
Well, I think what we're saying is Tim's telling us that it's probably buildable with a lot of issues like a mound system, and they do this stuff on stilts now, and so the water runs through it and all that other stuff. So the question of whether it's buildable, I think what Tim is telling us, it may very well be, but it's a lot of issues probably involved. That's where we're at. So I guess the big- Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Greg and I were just looking at the certificate from the publisher for putting it in the paper. It's $500. So we've done it twice already.
That's 1,000.
And if we're going to go through and get the testing done ourselves, that's going to be a couple $1,000.
We're not
And
going to
then
go
we sell it
and
for.
test it.
But I'm just saying, if we sell it for $5,000, we're breaking even at best. So I would say just hold on to it. I mean, if that's what we think we can get, is $5,000, then I'd say just.
One more time, Vinny?
What does it cost to maintain? We just cut the grass on it, that's all we do?
Public Works cuts it 4 to 6 times a year when it dries out from the
Okay.
pond.
How much would that cost me?
Yeah, add
Just
that
with
on.
labor and cost?
Oh, it's probably about no more than an hour with the tractor.
Okay, so it's minimal cost, right?
They do other ones around there? Probably not.
It goes in our route area, so when they go do the right-of-ways north on Johnsburg Road, over there by the signage, they just,
I'm trying to figure this
when they
in
come back
Yeah.
down with the tractor, after that one, they go hit the one on Shiloh subdivision,
We lower it?
and then that's where we end the
So
mowing to
there's
roundabout.
additional
We have
costs.
some unset costs, so it doesn't strategically fit what we want.
No, it
That's
doesn't.
back into.
Square one.
A different property?
Josh is just suggesting to hold on to it. What do we call the question?
Right.
No, I think my thought would be, why doesn't the village give this some thought? Further evaluation, it's not on the agenda tonight, any action being taken. And my thought would be, why don't you guys formalize it in the meantime, and at the next board meeting, either vote to accept the bid or vote to deny all the bids that have been received.
Okay. Give some time to think about it.
Yeah.
I think Josh is saying just hold on to it and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, again, if that's the price point we're looking at, then it just doesn't,
It's really,
yeah. Again, it's a wash, so.
Okay. You just drank it, because it makes sense.
Well,
more
we
to
don't-
get rid of it.
Mike had a good point, too.
We don't want to relist it for a third time immediately after lowering it again. If anyone was watching it and they see that, I would wait again.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just want to give it away,
So,
give you $1.
you know, because
It's gonna
the
get-
sales
it's gonna get
tactic
cut in
is
half.
just pull it if we don't accept it, and we will explore our
Can we get
packet
you a little
of
bit?
properties and see if there's a different one
Strike the deal.
that we can use for our next CUP meeting. We'll report on that.
okay.
Still good buy. It's fine.
Anyways, let's give it some thought and then we can talk about it.
His bids-
Okay, any other?
I was asking Vinny if he would like come up a little bit, maybe.
I don't know, his
Yeah,
bids
maybe.
his bids are going
I'm
down.
doing my best to try to negotiate,
That's the wrong way.
like, get 3-4 grand.
higher
Maybe
than
we can
last
make this
time.
work.
Negotiating 101, you always cut it in half. Eventually they give in, or you walk away from the deal. Right?
No way.
If you do soil borings on that, Vinny, you could turn around and sell for 15 grand. If it works.
Possibly.
You make-
They'll be
make a big
selling
money.
it back to the village for 15 grand.
Yeah, right, it makes money. Well, I don't know. There is risk. Joking with you, so.
I like what you're saying.
Gotta have a little.
Okay, any other discussion? If there being one, we will bring it up on the next agenda, okay? For a question, but I think we gotta think about it for $750. But that's just my own opinion, no offense, Vinny.
No, conservation land's going for $814 per parcel, so I understand.
$8,014?
No, $814 from the tax sales in McHenry County that they just published, so I was definitely under that bare minimum dollar amount also. They're strategy.
We may have considered it.
Well, those are
You plan to
auctions.
use it for bird watching if you don't build on it? What are you gonna do with the land? You bird watch?
You can do favors in the village of
We'll have
Johnsburg.
another pollinary garden.
Yeah.
Are you gonna donate it back to the village? That'd be
Yeah.
nice. We'll have it all over again. We got the same problem all over again.
Okay, we're good.
Yes, right.
Okay. Village poll, we're moved to approve pay request number 5 to Lenny Hoffman Excavating in the amount of $68,120.37 for Sunnyside Beach Road Improvement Project. Let's entertain a motion and a second and have discussion.
I'll motion we approve.
Motion by trustee Foreman, seconded by trustee Letzker. Discussion on the motion. Now is the time that we talk about, I think the punch list items have been completed. There is some repairs to do that, as far as landscaping and stuff, a lot of that is generated by the homeowners that decide to back over the grass seed and stuff like that and rut things up. But we've repaired it several times. I think we're getting there. I guess the question is, and I went down it with Vinny, everybody has looked at it. Tim, Vinny, and I believe Scott walked on it. The drainage works, you know. It was a horrible nightmare of a project because all the garages that were put up on Saturdays years ago when they were summer homes were all at different heights and elevations. And when we didn't get the drainage to go down to the river from the people that agreed to let us use it, that's why the thing is like a little bit of a roller coaster, because we had no choice but to drain everything to the middle of the road and run it down to the park and through our boat launch. And that's really, Tim, you can add, but that's really what caused the problem. In order to have the proper drainage for the elevations and what was there, if we were going to complete the project, we really didn't have a choice.
That's correct, and if money was no object, you would have seen a lot different design, but money was an object, a very specific object. I want to say, though, that we walked it probably 20 times. We met with the neighborhood captains, we met with the residents. Lenny Hoffman stepped up each and every time somebody drove through or started to discharge their sumps and all this stuff. And their subs stepped up, as I committed to you I would get them to do. The aesthetic was fixed at their cost, not the village's. In fact, Mr. DeMontrell 5 times, and all 5 times, Lenny Hoffman went out there and worked with them. At one point, we thought he was planting weeds on purpose on us. And Lenny Hoffman stepped up and planted sod. So we just feel that we're at a point where it really works well, and they all acknowledge that the drainage has never worked better in all the years. People are getting used to it, and we're putting the gate up. We're working on the gate right now. We talked about that white line, so that clearly defines our area. That's our roadway and the private part that people are going to still enjoy. And remember that tonight starts a 1-year warranty. So if something happens between now and September 17th next year, I call them up and I say, it's still a warranty item. So I just think everybody has worked well together as best as can be, and Correll's from Mike McAvoy and All of the residents who call me 7 days a week, morning, noon, and night, before, after church, seem to be happy this week.
Tim, this is final payment?
This is final. All it is 5% retention. Everything else was taken care of by you at the last board meeting, all the balancing, all the ups and downs. We're done. And so we want to close it because we continually get calls about it. It's one way for us, or what about this, or what. Let's just call it, and then I'll move on. But we want to get that gate in. And I went with Chris, we did detailed drawings for it, we did the structural caps for it. And so we want to get that in so that it becomes just the golf cart UTV route.
So is this when we officially accept this road then?
Yes.
Yes.
Is
Yes.
today?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, we officially accepted it. and we got a
Okay,
year
just so
warranty.
everybody here understands that.
Right.
And,
So this is a village road?
I want to get,
This will be a Village of Johnsburg road.
So why would we put up a gate?
well, we promised them when we negotiated it, we would put up a gate. That's why we're putting up a gate. We told them, had a public meeting, probably 3 times, that we would put up a gate on that road and have it access, be able to open up for fire trucks, garbage trucks, and emergency vehicles. So they wouldn't turn around down there. They could open the gate and drive through. So that's why we're putting up the gate, because we agreed to it. Okay?
There's still an opening for carts.
There's still an
No,
opening for...
I was just wondering why we were.
It's a fair question. It's a good
Before
question.
me, so I'm just asking.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad question.
No,
I'm just saying
Because the
that's
way I
what's
look at
something
it is
agreed upon.
We're responsible for the road. It should be open to all the residents.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I'm saying that.
Yeah, it's,
And this is the one that went way over budget, right? That was the one,
Huh?
because they changed, because we did,
The
lost the
agreement.
agreement
Yeah, the
for the
agreement.
drainage, we had to redesign the road, and because we
Yeah.
waited so long, that's, yeah.
The gate as designed is being designed with a 6-foot opening and one 12-foot swing gate. And the thought is we're going to work with the garbage company. Public Works can push snow through on the 18-foot wide road. We're even thinking about talking with Amazon UPS because of the way we're designing the gate. It'll just open and lock and then a simple closure. That's what we were working on, brainstorming with Chris, because we don't want people coming down that length of road and then trying to
We
turn
don't
around.
want garbage trucks turning around there, Amazon trucks turning around there. Even school buses would be a big hassle, we tear the shit out of it.
Right.
So, I mean, the question is great.
Fair question,
and
James.
Supposed to be opening all the
It was
time.
agreed upon prior to the signing of the documents.
So, I mean, they're gonna have to get out and with a key and unlock it?
No key, just push it over.
It's a regular
But
car.
then
could do it, too.
conceivably, anybody could do it.
Anybody could do it. Not like the one on River Terrace we have where they're locked in
Yeah, it's
with
locked.
keys.
Right.
If you want to introduce that stuff, you let me know and we can work on that. Still in design, but we want to get it done this fall.
Get it completed, we said that, we promised that when we took acceptance of the road, we would put the gate up.
Yes.
So just to be clear,
We've been
commercial
doing that.
vehicles will be going through there.
We've
That's all
been
we're
doing
gonna
that ever since we started the project and agreed to it.
And I asked Rick before the meeting, when we finalize this project completed, the residents on that road are not going to come back and say, hey, this is the best road I've ever seen built. We don't have a liability towards them.
We have a liability towards it, it's a public
if it's a
road.
village road,
Functionally, it's correct. So,
But aesthetically,
aesthetically,
we don't have any kind of liability that, okay, let's make it prettier for them.
No. I mean, I think between Vinny, I don't know if you saw Vinny's email, but he's been down there talking to people so much, he
Yeah.
feels like he's gonna be invited for Christmas dinner, and maybe Tim and Maureen can join him, they can all go down there for Christmas dinner, but I don't know what else we can do. We have gone out of our way to make it right to the best we can in order to get the drainage, and it didn't
It's
stem.
working.
You know, okay, they may not think it's the prettiest, but I don't think it, definitely now that the vegetarian has come in, and the vegetation has come in. Yeah, I'm not eating the weeds, but the vegetation has come in. It does look a lot better. So we have talked about, and I think Vinnie, and Tim would probably agree, that we can probably make it look a lot prettier after it's been there a year or so. Seal coat the whole thing, get rid of some of the, you're never gonna get rid of but you get rid of some of the snowplow stuff, and I think as they do it, but the liability, we have more liability because it's our road now. We got more liability, we got to maintain it forever. And is it the ideal situation? It could have been redesigned, but we already threw an extra, how much had it? You know pretty much the numbers.
At that one board meeting, it was an additional $277,000.
Over than what they paid in the SSA. So, but at that point in time, if we didn't go forward with it, we'd have to pay it back and pay the bonds, and we would have nothing.
Yeah,
and it would have cost us, I don't know, $50,000 to $80,000 bucks, I think, by the time we were done. So
it's upwards of $400,000.
Upward of 400?
Yeah, because we had to pay the interest back.
Right, that's what I
So,
thought it was.
It
was not a good decision.
I think we did the right thing, but I'm just not pleased with the finished look, and I understand why.
No, it is, and what Tim explained, and what Rick had came up with before, that in the future, here as a board, we were really gonna, if there's an SSA that wants to come here, this is a great learning tool going forward.
No, we definitely learned a lesson that
Yeah.
if you give us that right away, you're going to sign for it before we ever vote on this.
Right.
And that is legal, I'm sure, right? You can have an agreement so they can't back out of it.
Get the money up front.
Money and in writing.
Right, and here's
Agreements, we got to have agreements.
whatever they wanted to do, whether it
Agreement's
was,
the big thing, and they get the money up front because
Right,
it's
but
what they
that's-
say.
If they sign off, then they can't get back out of the agreement.
Yeah.
but put it, we'd agree, whatever form you want us to put it in a safe, we want to do an escrow agreement. But what I learned about this, and this was, the reason the village is learning this lesson is, up till now, residents have come through.
Good faith.
Always
Right,
in good faith.
uniformly.
Yeah.
And so, I think the expectation was, I think the village was taken aback. I wasn't involved in negotiations. But the point being that, I think this is the first time this ever occurred.
It is.
Yeah.
Rick's been involved in every one of those road SSAs since the beginning of time.
Right.
Everybody that promised us a easement did it.
And it wasn't just
Everybody that
one.
we had to take land, that we took land away from Stelzer on the corner in order to make the road work. We traded land, and all kinds of stuff to make that work, and everybody agreed to it, and everybody came through. They, so, I guess, we all know we're in a day and age where if you don't have it in writing, you don't have a deal.
But at the same time, we're grateful to Lenny Hoffman, right? Because he really came through.
With that new bid, that new bid was so
Yeah.
much better.
It was originally up at 1.9,
Right.
and we valued it down to
1.2.
So
1.2-ish, 1.25, and it came in at 1.3.
So we're grateful for him, that too.
The other thing that you should realize is that previous boards always had the idea of trying to get to the point where the private roads would go away, and at some point in time, they would all become public roads. Okay, I believe that this is the last private road on this side of the river. I think that everything within our municipal boundaries on this side of the river are now public roads.
That's good to know.
So I think that's an accomplishment that, the village has worked with all these different subdivisions in order to accomplish that. And
We're halfway there.
In 1994, we did a private road study that evaluated all of them. At that time, you had over 9 miles of private roads. And I think with Fairview, Upper Lower Baldwin, Pitson, Sunnyside Beach, Now, this Sunnyside Beach Plus, we probably knocked off
The ones back here, middle stubby.
middle stubby and long. I bet we knocked that number in half.
Yeah.
We're down to 4.5-ish miles. Now it's all on the east side, River Terrace, and all those roads over there.
I mean, I think the whole thing goes along too with our vision all the way along with getting the sewers all over the place. I remember the people on the other side of the river, you know, going to meetings and doing that. We had the whole side of this river, you know, done, right? We had it contracted, and then we ended up with the help of Michael and, you know, well, thank God we did what we did, or we would have had a mess. You know, but I can remember why worry Mr. Callahan over there telling me, I'll never see that line, that pipe underneath the river in my lifetime. And I said, I don't think I'll see it in my lifetime. And now it's a reality. It's underneath the river, it's done. So those are really huge accomplishments that we've got done.
It's under
the river.
The major lift station, 20-foot deep plus is set.
They're doing the lift station right now.
All this set, the air release valve is set, so probably within a week, all the superstructure, they're gonna start drilling on Linden and go under Chapel, and the major work will be done, and then you'll see, it'll just be right at the lift station site.
And I think, you know, Rick and I can remember all the hours spent, you know, with the vision of that we could get that done. Tim, you know, Rick, and it was hours and hours and hours and hours spent on how we could maybe get that done. And it's a reality. It's there.
We also have to thank Mr. Callahan for living long enough.
I didn't think we'd get it done in my lifetime. That's what I told him, man. You know, I saw him a week or so ago. What about that pipe underneath the river? He just. Anyways,
awesome.
So I think it's a huge accomplishment that the vision was there how many years ago, and it got done. So it's going to help that. It's going to help the guy at Inland, not Inland Harbor. Hidden Harbor.
Hidden Harbor.
Hidden Harbor. You know, that development will probably be a reality. It wouldn't be a reality without it. The property across from Hidden Harbor, you know, developing that as commercial property, that's probably a reality now. That was always a question anytime anybody looked at it. Where are the sewers? So I think we're there with a lot of reality because of that. Just like, you know, on 31, we got with the apartment complex, we got the sewers now to Claremont Hills. It's, you know, available to the Moose. It's available for all the development on 31 that it was never available to. So I think we did a great job.
The design of that takes, the depth of it gives you the ability to serve all the way to the edge of Whispering Ridge Estates and the Chabella property around the intersection of Bay. So again, that's a big opportunity for us of some developable land.
So.
Yeah, that Chabella piece is big. What is that, 80, 90 acres?
90.
And we did that, you know, we got them to come with us because Lakemore was coming on the other way when we did the first annexation. Remember going down to their restaurant, the White Eagle down there, and they're giving us tours of the whole place and feeding us and everything else, you know. But that's why it's a reality. They trusted us more than anybody, and I think they're still happy that they did it. So, you know. It's relationships that we built like that, and why stuff gets done.
Johnsburg, that's why they did it.
Yeah.
Their mother loved Johnsburg.
Whatever it takes.
Kids came.
Whatever that
That
touchstone is.
farmhouse that's there, that was like their vacation house.
Yeah, yeah. I think the White Eagle's gone, now it's townhouses. But that was a huge place, remember that place? That was unbelievable. So anyways, I guess we're ready to call the question unless anybody else about the payout. Unless anybody's got any other discussion on it. Could there be none? Trustee Morse, Trustee Hagan, Trustee Clemstein, Trustee Foreman, Trustee Falk, and Trustee Metzger. And the other thing, I think, you know, I just want everybody to understand that we got the gate, the drawing on the gate. We're Then he got some neat idea for a little $750 extra of making the gate look better. So,
You got right
you know,
steel on that.
we will be moving forward with the gate. And is there any more discussion on that? With there being any, we're gonna move forward with the gate. We promised it would go in. And I think that as of today, because we closed out the project, you've been telling them, the day we close it out, we'll start on the gate. The design is done, and then you've got like that neat idea for an extra $750, and I think it's gonna be great. So we'll go into that later. Okay. Anything else? Go ahead.
On Friday, I attended, well, I got a letter from Vinnie and you about the MCCD referendum that they have that's coming up on the November 5th election. Myself and 2 public work employees, there were, MCCD had on Friday out at Trout Lakes out there.
In Ringwood?
No, off of Cary Algonquin Road.
Oh, okay.
Up there.
Yeah.
Tree preservation.
And there was a tree preservation seminar, and they had just talked about going forward with new neighborhoods, things like that, and existing ones and how to do it. And it was informative. The only issue I had with it, there was the arborists and the tree preservation people were from Wilmette, and they're on staff, these arborists, and I know they're not cheap, and I brought it up to them. I said, all your ideas are great, but just the personnel that you would need to do some of this, small communities just wouldn't have it. And they agreed, and they said, Wilmette, Winnetka, that whole North Shore wants to be a certain way.
Sure.
And they make it tough to knock down trees or just come in and start cutting roots. And it's a pretty involved process. So we did go to that. And they also sent 2, they have they're looking to raise tax for some of the things that they want to do on the November 5 election. It's a referendum there. But the one thing the lady did say that they had monies that will be done in 2026. And
Like a grant or something?
A
Or?
bond.
it was a bond that will be issued.
They're gonna
They
finish
would
it.
reissue a new bond, right?
And they're basically just going to wait till then, and really, the new stuff isn't necessarily raising your taxes right now. That was one of the big things they asked me to.
Isn't the Conservation District the biggest landowner in the county right now?
Them and Catholic Church, I think, are
Oh, well, okay.
close, so.
The church is all right. It's all getting us to heaven.
There's no taxes.
I mean, they're the biggest landowner in the...
But no, when I saw that letter,
I'm glad that you
Yeah.
brought
Did
it
they
up.
say, did you happen to mention anything about the oak trimming or anything like that, as far as preservation goes? Or did
they
bring it
had,
up?
yeah, the Wilmette was very big on all that and what
Yeah.
has to be done. And yeah, it's just not apply for a
So
permit.
we're still working on that,
Yeah, we're
right?
gonna get a sample of both alleys, right?
This is why we went down the Trout Valley Tree Preservation course. So one Public Works employee and our Parks Facility guy to look into our franchise agreement in regards to timeline for them to cut and have that discussion. Bull Valley was instrumental. She brought it on my radar, so we signed up for it based on our last board meeting, maybe 2 ago, and what they're working on with their ordinance. They did say, and we have to look in the franchise agreement, that once an ordinance is passed and you're deferring ComEd to do their routine maintenance, there could be an increase in charge to the municipality to defer that contract they have for Asplund to go around. But I feel like our franchise agreement is pretty well worded that, sorry, you're not doing it during these times. This just helped us with the whole training.
Wonderful.
And
What
having
is-
someone a little bit more
Wonderful.
educated.
What is the multiplier that they're talking about on the November 5th list?
I don't know what the actual
Did they give a-
multiplier was. I think for a $300,000 house,
$27.
it was $27, but the way the tax from the previous bonds will be abated, it's not added on to that
2
once that
years.
one is gone, because they'll bring that other one up. So it's not a big
It's more of a stabilization of continuation of what they got right now. I think that's what people are going to be asking everybody.
Can I interject something here? I mean, I'm at North Shore particularly because I run into it all the time. The tree police, as I call them, get really crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Like insane. So like if you bought a lot that was wooded and you wanted to clear it and build a house on it, they would go in and say, you can't touch that tree, you can't touch that tree, you can't touch that tree, and you have the silt fence around it, this, that, and the other thing, and now all of a sudden you're getting residents that are very aggravated about particular things. So this is a double-edged sword. I'm not saying it's not a good idea, but what I'm saying is it adds a lot of money and a lot of consternation to people's ability to develop and build on their property. Just some food for thought.
And this, he admitted that, and they want it that way. They don't want you just coming in and being Mr. T and just chopping trees. They want it to be a process.
I know, I remember that.
Oh, yeah,
30
I made
years
me
ago,
date
right?
myself a
So
little
long
bit.
ago.
Yeah, that was Lake Forest.
Yeah.
So with development, and especially a development agreement, we have been very successful in protecting green spaces, wetlands, floodways, floodplains, and heritage oaks. And so
Yeah, that was a big thing, the
General
heritage
Capital
trees.
protected the heritage oaks that were not on their property, but the drip line was. So that's why all the buildings moved away from that residential property, because the village, we made the request that that's what it's going to take to develop that piece. So we've been fortunate that nobody challenged us, but we have said that's our rules and regs, especially with heritage oaks. And so if you remember, on the east property line of General Capital, it's away from those trees. And if you drive by today, you'll see the beautiful oaks, which are on the neighbor's piece, who commented at a hearing. And we had already told them that you're not going to do anything to them, because they had a big drainage swale there. And so we worked with them, and we worked it out. So we did the same thing with Jack Bees when he came with Dutch Creek 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. But it's on these individual sites, like these little onesie, twosie lots that are left that have a heritage oak or have a tree, that we have nothing that guides us to that. And if I make a comment in my review letter, they're like, show me an ordinance where it says that. And that's when we said, well, it was a recommendation. You bought the lot, wouldn't you want to preserve this beautiful tree? But it impacts what they can or can't do on a lot like you were trying to sell earlier today.
And my
I'm glad you
point,
brought it up, Scott.
when I brought it up, it's a little different. It's the random nature of just going down a street line and just systematically cutting oaks.
It was about cutting it
Yeah,
at
the wrong time of year.
yeah.
Just that the thing goes down.
Which I would like to tighten and control more.
Well, and then I think in our subdivision control ordinance, let's stop asking for parkway trees right under utilities then.
Yeah.
Let's put them out in the parkway.
Great
We've been
idea.
doing, we've been asking the KLMs and the builders to put them on the people's lot and let them take care of it. And then it's not imposing, it's not
Smart.
overhanging the road that impacts the public works, plow trucks,
And the sidewalk.
and the sidewalk, and our utilities, and. So we've been,
And the shade makes them go to hell faster without the
Yeah.
sun.
Yes.
you know, getting on
so a
the-
lot of those you're talking about, Beth, are from the original Sunnyside and others. And you're right, asphalt's out there to clear the lines,
Right.
to keep the power up and running for the agreements. It's horrible what they do.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. Thank you. Any other things anybody else wants to bring up before we adjourn? I know everybody wants to keep the meeting going.
Nothing new on the website, we're still moving along. We're kind of in that in-between space where it's The work's getting done in the background.
They did send me a rendering, I haven't had time to look at it just this week. They did update us on what they said about mid-September to end of September having a viewing for me.
So we're on our timeline. which is-
Hey, another question, November 5, Election Day, that's the first Tuesday in November.
We won't be
And I'm
meeting.
assuming this is a election,
This is a polling
so
location.
we will not have a
we do it
meeting on
Thursday?
We will not have a meeting.
Okay.
No. November 5th is a Tuesday.
So 12?
So it's election day. There will be no meeting. We will probably move it
To Thursday?
we'll probably just have one meeting that month, on the 12th and the 19th, because the 28th is Thanksgiving.
It's a late Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're either gonna do the 12th or the 19th, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I hate to go that far off to make a decision, because you don't know what's
Right,
coming
no,
up that far out that
I'm
we
just saying, I
might
know
have to do.
we had that problem before, this is a polling area, and
Yep. Yep.
I'm not gonna lie, when we canceled the cow, I got to the end of September.
Right.
That was the goal.
Yeah, it's a good guy with the $750. Okay.
He's gonna pay for it in pennies.
That's what I was worried about. No, I moved up to dimes.
Yeah.
Pay for it.
A couple of trash bags. Here you go.
he's got it.
We have a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by trustee Foreman, seconded by trustee Paul. Discussion on the motion, with there being on trustee Morse, trustee Hagan,
Aye.
trustee Feinstein,
Aye.
trustee Foreman,
Aye.
trustee Falk, and trustee Letzger.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Be there for Saturday.
I'll get some checks.